Hello folks, this is Pastor Mike Hoggard, pastor of Bethel Church in Festus, Missouri, and head of prophetic research ministry with another Watchman video broadcast. I found out this week who's riding the beast. You'd be surprised. President Barack Obama. His heavily armored Cadillac named the Beast became stuck on a ramp at the U.S. Embassy in Dublin. RTE State Radio reported Monday. The first cars in the presidential motorcade emerged up the ramp from the car park beneath the complex in Balls Bridge and passed through the gates without incident, but the Beast quickly ran into trouble and got beached. Boy, think about the terminology here. The Beast was coming along and suddenly there was a loud kind of bang, metal on metal, grinding, crunching noise, and the car was stuck. An RTE reporter said that as it drove out, the car appeared to have got its low underbelly. I have one of those. Caught on a piece of metal sticking up that a gate might lock into. RTE said Obama and his wife Michelle stayed in the car while security officials and police officers went running over to the stranded vehicle. Oh my goodness. After a while, the Obamas switched to another car to drive to the Marine Air Force One helicopter, waiting to whisk them to the village of Moneygal. Obama rides the Beast. You know, it's just funny that they referred to that as the Beast and then it got beached. Revelation 13, I saw a beast rise up out of the sea. I don't know. Some of you still think Barack Obama's the Antichrist. I think he is Antichrist. I just don't think he's the Antichrist because he doesn't have 7 heads and 10 horns. Anyway, watched and monitored still. Here is an article called Minority Report. There was a movie called this. Minority Report, scanners are coming. Company receives $15 million to develop long-range facial recognition technology. We talked about this before. Ever heard of a company called Digital Signal Corporation? Neither had I. Well, remember the movie Minority Report? How cameras everywhere would scan Tom Cruise, instantly recognizing him to either welcome him to the shopping mall or send the cops after him. The same sort of facial recognition technology is exactly what Digital Signal Corporation is into, except these guys are for real. MarketWire recently reported that DSC received $15 million to develop three-dimensional, long-range biometric facial recognition technology. I wonder what exactly DSC's technology will be used for. Makes me think of the cameras being mounted on more and more police cars that are able to record virtually every license plate that passes by. Will facial recognition devices be used to keep track of everyone that goes to a baseball game, the supermarket, or a political rally? The DSC website doesn't offer any information about what their cameras can do. There's pretty much nothing there except a picture of a guy staring you down like he knows. He knows! In an attempt to get past the guy, I searched for a link but found none. Eventually I saw this. Our website is currently under construction. We talked about this and several things, one of them which was a video that we put out called The All-Seeing Eyes, Surveillance Society and the New World Order. And I put forth the information there from what I can see from the scriptures that the devil is building. Satan, Lucifer, the dragon, the devil, the snake, whatever you want to call him. He is building a network that will allow him to be totally in control. Now I want you to stop and think about how this is going to work. You'll be driving in your car, or you'll go to the baseball stadium, or you'll go into the store, and instantly from a camera that probably you won't even be able to see, a camera is going to take just a brief glimpse. All it needs is a glimpse of your face, or a portion of your face. You are in a database somewhere. They're going to be able to recognize you and know that at such and such time you walked into such and such store, or you were driving down certain avenue in your town or somebody else's town, and they will be able to build and are going to build and are building right now a database of your life. We are getting to the point that every deed that we do is being written down. You can call it totalitarianism. You can call it communism. You can call it total control, because that is exactly what it is. The devil does not have the power of God. He must create His own power, His own network, His own ability to monitor everything. Now, we're living in a day right now where we're seeing this. We're seeing this come to pass. Go back 20 years ago. You had people believing that, well, let's say the rapture happens and I'm left behind here. Well, I'm still going to follow Jesus and I'm just going to escape everything that is going on during those days. The Bible says they shall not escape. And we're looking at a situation right now to where if you're playing games and you're thinking, I'm going to live how I want to and keep drinking and keep chasing women and I'm just going to do whatever I want to until when the rapture happens, then I'll sober up and I'll start living for God and I'll be one of those tribulations. I'm just going to be in the tribulation and not worry about anything and I'll escape everything. It won't happen. It won't happen. There's going to be such total dominance and total control over planet Earth in the very, very near future. You won't want to live here anymore. You won't want to live here anymore. The interesting thing, I actually watched The Minority Report. By the way, I watched another movie too. I don't encourage you to watch movies. I don't say, hey, go see this movie, man, it was cool, the special effects were awesome, dude. I don't do that. And I am pretty selective on what I'm going to see, but somebody recommended that I go see Thor. So I went to see it. I'm going to tell you about it. I had a guy come up to our church last night. He's a police officer. He's a friend of our church, friend of our ministry. And he was asking me, he said, what's up? What's up with this? And I told him what's going on. He said, there's a lot of things happening right now. And I said, you're exactly right, brother. But anyway, I actually saw the Minority Report, and I was looking at this, and it is exactly, the Minority Report, in case you don't know what this is, it's in a future time where the police, with all this technology now, have the ability to see into the future, to see who's going to commit a crime. Well, with this facial recognition technology, not only will they be able to see who's going about, they will also have the ability, based upon the things that we do with our face when we're thinking certain things, they'll be able to say, you know what, this guy's got something, this guy's going to rob this store. We can see it in his eyes, we can see it in his face, and they will arrest him on what the Minority Report called a pre-crime. A pre-crime. But the imagery, the whole Minority Report system was run by 3 people. It was controlled or powered by 3 people. Here's a graphic here. There's Tom Cruise with his all-seeing one eye. But the graphic here, the 3 people who had something special about their genetics, okay? Just, throw that in there. And they laid in this pool of goo, and they were monitored all day long, and they were able to use precognition to look into the future to see who was going to do what, and then they would display it on this video screen, and Tom Cruise would go, okay, this guy's going to commit murder. And so they bust into his house and arrest him like 5 minutes before he actually kills somebody. But I noticed and took particular note of the imagery of the people with this advanced genetics. And I want you to notice the symbolism here of the 3. And we're going to see that a little bit later on. I'm going to tie Thor into this. I'm going to tie a secret bloodline into this, and you'll like where I'm going with this. One of our watchers, I appreciate the families that watch our ministry, and they view our church services and things like that. I am particularly appreciative of the young people, young men and young ladies that are watching this ministry, whose parents are desperately trying to raise them in a correct manner. And we have them literally all over the place. And it thrills my soul when we get some young people in tune with the Scriptures and in tune with Bible prophecy and seeing what's going on. And there was a family, the young ladies sent me some things, some books, some quote-unquote Christian books that they had read, that their parents bought them because they were part of like a homeschool, recommendation reading list. And it was this idea that, well, your kids can't read Harry Potter, so read these. These are better than Harry Potter. They don't have witchcraft in it, and so on and so on. So they read these books, and then they start watching different things, seeing things going on, and they start looking at symbols, they start looking at ideas and principles. And they go, you know what? That probably wasn't a good idea. And they sent me this one. I had never heard of this. It's a book series for Christian teens called The Kingdom of Arrethtrae. Now, that is a funny name. And it looked like it looked like an anagram. So I did an anagram search, and the word Arrethtrae is Terra Earth. So it would be the kingdom of the earth, or the kingdom of terror, or maybe the kingdom of this world. But beyond that, it's a whole book series, and here you have knights and swords and all this kind of stuff. And I asked the question, a young lady that sent me this, I asked the question, I said, does this book have anything to do with like the fusion or the combining of two kingdoms? And she said, yeah, there is that in this book. And I said, because I recognize the symbol here. First of all, you have this lion, you have this eagle here, and this eagle has, boy, look at it. The eagle has two heads. Just like in the 33rd degree of Freemasonry, their symbol is a double-headed eagle. Now, let me pull Albert here. Let's all look here. Albert Pike, in Morals and Dogma, has this exact same picture in it of the double-headed eagle with the number 33 and the crown and Ordo Ab Chao and all that stuff. So this is like an exact model of that. And here's what Albert Pike says in here. I'm going to pretend like I'm reading it. Albert Pike says, Albert Pike says in here in Morals and Dogma, the Bible of Freemasonry, he says that the double-headed eagle has everything to do, it's like related to the god Janus. Janus is a two-headed god, one facing this way and one facing that way. Sort of like a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. And the god Janus and this eagle represents the two heads facing in opposite directions. Are you getting me here? Opposites. Male and female. Yin and yang. A kingdom of heaven fused with the kingdom of the earth, Terra Earth. Okay? That's what I think that is. I don't need to read the entire book series in order to figure out what ultimately is the design and the message of this. I'm looking at the symbols. They say don't judge a book by its cover. I'm judging by what's on the cover of this. Because basically the two opposites are Genesis chapter 6, the sons of God fused in and mingled with the daughters of men, and they create a new body. It is the exact opposite of Christ and His church. It is the exact opposite of that. This will bring in not the kingdom of Jesus Christ, but the kingdom of the Antichrist. Here's something else that one of our watchers sent to me. You know what? I just happened... This is amazing. I come in here and sit down, and I'm trying to decorate my desk here so it looks nice. Okay, I want it to look really nice. And I just happened to open, just flip my Bible open here so it's open. And I open up here to the book of Ezekiel because that's exactly where I'm going right now. And here's a lamentation or prophecy against the king of Tyrus, or the prince of Tyrus, and it has to do with the man who was in the thou sealest up the sum full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was I covering. He's covered with 10 stones, precious stones. This is Lucifer. And it says, the workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee in the day that thou was created. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth. That's how we know that this is Lucifer, the anointed cherub that covereth. And he is referred to here as the king of Tyrus. Now, the reason why I'm saying all this is that somebody sent me, and I appreciate this, somebody sent me an email with a PDF file in it. And they said, Pastor Mike, we used to write songs. I used to write songs, and I used to want to write all these hit songs that everybody's recording and make a lot of money and this and that and the other. And he said, I signed with a record company, and it didn't really go anywhere and blah, blah, blah. But he said in the record industry, he said, you're right. Who was it? Came out. John Todd, a guy by the name of John Todd.